Welcome to another episode of Unlocking the Mind Behind Make More, Work Less. Hi, my name is Fong. I'm an entrepreneur, business strategist, real estate investor, speaker, and also a best-selling author. And every single day, I help others unlock the potentials and guide them to succeed. Today on Unlocking the Mind, we talk about another cognitive bias. And the reason why we do this show is so we could better understand how our minds work, how we make decisions, how we are affected by certain things, and how we can build better relationships and have better business decisions. And sometimes avoid certain cognitive traps. So for today's cognitive theme, I'm going to ask you a question. If I flip a coin and I get heads, tails, heads, tails, heads, 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 blank, what's next? What would you choose? Would you choose heads because of the fact that, hey, let's ride the hot hand and go with heads all the way? Or would you choose tails because of the only reason of we've had so many runs of heads, eventually it has to balance out? Well, if you chose tails, then that is gambler's fallacy. And that's our theme for today. Gambler's fallacy is basically the false belief that if a particular event occurs more frequently than normal during its past, then it is more likely than not that eventually it's going to balance out and it's going to be something else later. Even if the two events have absolutely nothing to do with each other. Based on probability, yes, flipping a heads and tails is 50-50, but each individual event, each flip has nothing to do with the previous flip. And therefore, if you believe that the next result is because of what happened in the past, then that is gambler's fallacy. Now, you might ask, how does this affect us in a day-to-day life? And how is this going to affect us in our business life? Well, the thing is, our minds like to look for patterns. And when our minds don't find that pattern to actually fit what it should fit with, then we start convincing ourselves that eventually it has to balance out. It has to fit that pattern. And therefore, our brain starts tricking us into believing or into making certain decisions. For instance, loan officers, they might go through a whole series of approvals. And then all of a sudden they feel, you know what, I've approved so many already, I have to have one that's not approved. And their studies have been shown that indeed does happen, where they go approve, approve, approve. All of a sudden they go, you know what, I've had so many approves already, I'm going to disapprove one. Even if that was an application that was actually going to be approved. And therefore, that is how gamblers of fallacy would actually affect our day-to-day lives or a person's professions and their decisions. Let's say if you were going to the stock markets or you were buying cryptocurrency, just because all the other cryptocurrencies are doing well, this one particular crypto may or may not be affected the same way as all the other ones. And therefore, we have to kind of take a step back and test and test and test before we believe, hey, we're going to make a decision because of this sample size, not because of what's happening in the current results. Just because by luck or coincidence, a certain thing is happening. So for instance, let's say if you were making a decision based on the foods you eat. If you eat something and then you don't feel good and you eat something you don't feel good, you eat something you don't feel good, is it because of what you've eaten or is it because of something else? Well, you have to take a step back and look at everything else that you did during that day. Maybe it has nothing to do with the food you ate. Maybe it has to do with the stuff that you've been surrounding yourself with. Maybe it's because you've been working in an environment that gives you sickness. That could be the issue. It may not be the food that you eat, just because there's a pattern there. So the thing is, we need to start looking at things from a different point of view. We have to go and see if the sample size is the right sample size for us to make that next decision. And then we have to believe or think about whether or not this one event has anything to do with the events that happened in the past. So in that whole coin flipping thing, each event is completely individual on its own. It has nothing to do with the results before. So that is gambler's fallacy. So if you like this episode, please go back to our other Unlocking the Mind episodes. And if you like this show, we have a lot of other shows, the Make More Mind Bites, the Peak Potential Success Show, and also Mastermind Bites that goes up every single week. And I love seeing your likes, comments, and please subscribe. Thank you for all your support. And until next time, today is the day to unlock your potential. We'll see you later.